Melanie Collins on our sideline. Warm day indoors here in LA. We've had the flip of the coin. Chargers won. They elect the second half kickoff. Braxton Berrios is deep. And it will be a touchback, and it goes to the 25-yard line for Tua Tagovailoa. Thank you for joining us, everyone, here on CBS today. These are two teams, Trent, with very high aspirations this year after both making the playoffs last year.
Well, and what I love about this matchup is not only do we have two great teams, but we have two aggressive coaches. They went into the offseason not satisfied with just making the playoffs. They made big moves to get themselves back and even further this season.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Modelo, the mark of a fighter. Bet MGM, the king of sportsbooks. Please gamble responsibly. And by Little Caesars, the official pizza sponsor of the NFL. Pizza Pizza.
Trent, the Dolphins, one of only 3 teams last year with no red zone turnovers, and to begin things, they turn one over at the 6.
Well, and that's just a devastating way to start this. They had the bad snap on the first play that was overturned. You see the ball just coming out of Tua's hands.
Holland again picks up 2 to the 35. There's a look at Kellen Moore.
Well, and you can see the total offense, the success that he had there, points per game. Obviously had some good runners in Elliott and Pollard, and really what he's trying to bring in here is that the Chargers need to have better balance. They need to get that run game going. We know what Herbert can do. We showed his numbers just a little bit ago, but having some balance, getting some play action passes off of that balance will allow Herbert to push the ball down the field more.
Back in Los Angeles, you're watching NFL Kickoff presented by YouTube TV. Beautiful drive. About 7.5 minutes after the Chargers forced a second fumble. This one they got in the exchange from Connor Williams, the Miami center, to Tua Tagovailoa. A fumble at the 6. They took it the other way. 94 yards, Trent, with the touchdown. Berrios back again. Dicker will kick it out of the end zone, and we welcome in the third member of our crew, Melanie Collins.
Thank you, Kevin. The Chargers could not wait to get back out onto this field and cleanse their system of that gut-wrenching wild card round loss to the Jags. I was with this group of men in that locker room immediately following the loss. I had never seen a group so dejected. Austin Eckler called it traumatic. Brandon Staley told us he thought about it every single day since, but he said we worked hard all offseason to ensure nothing like that ever happens again. He said now it's time for the bounce back, and it starts now, guys.
Well, they bounced back pretty good on their first possession, didn't they, Trent?
Yeah.
So throwing between the numbers, you were just talking about that and the success they found.
Well, as a left-handed quarterback, you would think the left side of the field would be bigger than what it is, but they really like throwing in the middle of the field. Tua has had a lot of success in the middle of the field, and as we've seen already in this game, the long completion to Waddle was a slant to the inside part of the field, and that big completion to Craycraft. So they look to continue what they've done in the middle of the field.
As we take you to New York and JB with Boomer.
Boom, this is how you slay him on D.
Yes, it is. Mac Jones going to have the ball slip out of his hands, then get tipped up in the air, and there is Darius Slay. This is going to be his 5th career touchdown. This is a 70-yard interception return, Kevin. By the way, the Eagles now extend their lead 10-0 over the New England Patriots. Back to you guys in LA.
G-Phone, only on Verizon.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Hims for all things healthcare. And by Verizon, the official 5G network of the NFL.
SoFi Stadium, Los Angeles. That was a scene back in December of last year when the Chargers beat Miami, and arguably Miami's worst offensive performance of the season. Tua had a 60-yard touchdown pass to Hill. Herbert threw for 367 and a TD, and the Chargers won it 23-17. Chargers on the ground last year in this matchup, 82 rushing yards, and Trent, they've already got 58 yards today on the ground. U.S.
Well, we talked about the speed that both these teams possess. We go back to a year ago with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, the fastest wide receiver duo in the NFL. As you see, he gets to 23 miles per hour on that play. We saw earlier in this game an inside route by Waddle, as we see him from last season once again, turning it up the sideline and not being caught. They showed that explosive speed in the first series of the game.
Lioness for a free month.
Pretty day in Southern California with aerial coverage of today's game provided by Goodyear. There's Steve Ballmer's LA Clippers future home there on the left. And there's a wonderful United flight coming in. They're cleared for landing on what? I don't know what runway that is, but there they go. And there's SoFi Stadium in the background. Of course, they got all the great things downtown. The area here in Inglewood, though, is flourishing.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Lowe's. Lowe's knows home improvement. FanDuel, make every moment more. And by Papa John's. Try the new Garlic Epic Stuffed Crust Pizza today.
And part of the Pro Football Hall of Fame class of 2023, Zach Thomas, five-time All-Pro, played 12 seasons for Miami. Don Coryell, the head coach for the high-powered San Diego Chargers offense that was led by Dan Fouts. 10-7, two straight scores by Miami. And Boomer.
Geno to the ab.
I'll tell you what, Geno's doing pretty well. 11 of 14, 82 yards. The abs, well, that's DK Metcalf. 10 yards. They extend their lead over the Rams 10-7. Nice throw by Geno Smith.
Back to the voice, Kevin Harvey.
Downstairs to Melanie Collins.
Look at Sebastian Joseph Day, JT Woods, and Jasier Taylor helped pack 750 bags of non-perishable food items ready for distribution to elementary school students. In a continued effort to combat childhood hunger, the Chargers will distribute the meal bags Tuesday, September 12th at the 112th Street Elementary School in South Los Angeles. Great work there from the Chargers, guys.
Thank you very much, Mel. Liam Eichenberg is now playing the left guard for the Dolphins.
Austin Eckler has been one of the most explosive players in the NFL the last couple of seasons, and he's not disappointing today. A big run with the stiff arm here to Holland to get some separation. And then the touchdown. He's been a force for the Chargers for a long time, but picking up where he left off the last couple of seasons.
Brazil win to New York with JB and Boomer.
Patriots capitalize on a long drive.
They finally get on the board. 10 plays, 71 yards. 9-yard touchdown pass to Hunter Henry from Mac Jones. They close the gap 16-7. Tom Brady, Bob Kraft very happy. Big ceremony coming up at halftime honoring the great Tom Brady in New England.
NFL.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Subway Series Deli Heroes. Now with fresh sliced meats. And by Geico. For all your insurance needs, it's easy to Geico.
Tua Tagovailoa with 229 yards through the air so far. He's hit 6 different receivers, and they've got the ball inside the 15 with the 1st and 10 after the completion. Got it! 41-yard field goal. And a 3-point Miami lead going to the break.
This is the end of the first half.
End of the half. Miami 20, Chargers 17. Halftime is next after these first half highlights from Verizon. And a word from your local CBS station.
Whoa. So this is your plan? Watching with this crew from work.
Well, Josh Allen, I have to watch their NFL Sunday ticket.
That's not a great plan. But this is my plan from Verizon. Switch now and get NFL Sunday ticket from YouTube TV on them.
I'm really into this plan.
And they're really into whatever this is. I wouldn't.
I won't.
Football season is here. Get NFL Sunday ticket from YouTube TV on us, a $449 value. Plus, get a free 5G phone, only on Verizon.
CBS Sports presents the Verizon Halftime Report.
And welcome back to our New York studio and the Verizon Halftime Report, brought to you by Verizon. That is the network America relies on. Full house here in Studio 43. Let's get right to the highlights.
All right, the big man is in the building. His name is Tom Brady. He was just honored at halftime, ringing the bell pregame before the Eagles take the field against the Patriots. How about this, Mac Jones? Not the way that you want to start a game. This is going to be a tipped interception by Darius Slay. He's going to take it all the way back. Philadelphia will lead 10-0. Ezekiel Elliott then will fumble. Philadelphia will score another touchdown, take a 16-0 lead, and then late in the first half, there is Mac Jones and Kendrick Bourne, 16-14 now as they get ready to start the third quarter.
Sean Payton makes his debut in the Broncos onside kick with the opening kickoff, but it's been about Russell Wilson. In the first half, he's thrown 2 touchdowns. This one right there, you see the Courtland Sutton. They lead 13-10 in the third.
The Packers took a short trip down to Chicago, and Jordan Love is hitting wide receiver Romeo Doubs for the 8-yard touchdown. The Packers have the lead 10-6 in this one.
All right, we have the Rams, the Seahawks. NFC West battle. Geno Smith picking up where he left off in the regular season, hits DK Metcalf. The Seahawks all over the Rams, 13-7.
All right, listen, this is the Chargers. Who you got to look out for? Tua. Look at the anticipation to Tyreek Hill over the middle. This is what's astounding about all these throws. Once again, good protection over the middle. Anticipating the throw to Tyreek Hill. Look at this one here. Over the defender, into the middle of the field. Tyreek Hill once again. Look at these stats, 16 of 26, 6 receptions by Tyreek Hill, 104 yards. The first half, 264 by Tua. How about this, next-gen stats? 12 of 15, 205 yards over inside the numbers. That's what they did. Last year, the Chargers took all these throws away from the Miami Dolphins. I don't know what game plan they got going on, but the middle's been wide open the whole time.
It's been wide open, and they are fast. When you talk about Miami, you're talking about speed. With you're talking about Tyreek Hill, you're talking about Waddle, Raheem Mostert in the backfield, coming out of the backfield. They have got speed right now. They only punted 1 time in this game. I'll tell you, they've been impressive on the offensive side of the ball.
Listen, the Chargers are trying to take it away, but it's just so difficult. It is impressive to see this game after game. They are the best in-cutting route wide receivers in the game, Tyreek Hill and Waddle. It's like a point guard throwing his alley-oop to the big man. I'm going to put it out there, and I know you're going to go get it. Even if you're playing zone, they're still going to find the gap and throw to the gap, and Tyreek's going to get there with speed.
They do.
326 yards in the first half. I mean, my goodness, we need to get those pass rushers, Bosa and Matt, going. Somebody's got to stop somebody.
You know, the amazing thing, think about this. Miami could have drafted Justin Herbert. They didn't. They drafted Tua Tagovailoa. They picked up his 5th-year option. Meanwhile, Justin Herbert went to the Chargers, and he got the big new contract. I feel like Tua is playing for that contract today to show everybody that they picked the right guy.
Yeah. I'll just say this about Tua. You think coaching doesn't matter? Look what coaching has done for his career.
Yeah, shout out to Money Mike.
Awesome.
Bill says amen, and the Verizon halftime report continues.
CBS Sports presents the Verizon Halftime Report. Verizon, my plan, the plan for fans. CBS Sports presents the Verizon Halftime Report. Verizon, my plan, the plan for fans.
It's halftime in Los Angeles with a 3-point Miami lead, and we'll be back with the start of the second half after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS, home of Super Bowl 58. Trent just checked it out, and a 3-point 2017 lead for Miami. And we welcome you back to Los Angeles to NFL Kickoff presented by YouTube TV. Boy, that was an entertaining first half, wasn't it? That was a lot of fun.
That was a great first half. We knew coming into this matchup it was going to be an exciting matchup. And 2 young quarterbacks drafted in the first round back-to-back back in 2020, coming in and putting up the type of numbers. Austin Eckler's had a big half. Tyreek Hill's had a big half. Tua with over 200 yards. It's been impressive.
And the tight end for the Dolphins, Smythe, has played a big role, too. We've got long field goals both ways. And here we go now to start our second half. Chargers had won the flip of the coin. They chose to take it here to begin the third quarter. Out to the 25-yard line with a touchback and a 1st and 10 and downstairs to Mel.
Well, thanks, Kev. Mike McDaniel loved the response from his team after that opening drive fumble on the goal line. He said, my guys haven't blinked, and any issue executing offensively has been by our own doing. Good news, Tyreek Hill is fine. He was just getting some fluids. As for the Chargers, Brandon Staley tells me we've run the ball well. He likes the pacing, but he said defensively, we're on our heels. We've got to get more pressure on the quarterback.
All right, the numbers for the quarterbacks today.
Well, look at the production that Tua Tagovailoa has. 264 yards passing in that first half. Not quite the same numbers for Justin Herbert, but they've been very effective running the football. 133 yards rushing, a lot of that coming from Eckler.
This broadcast is copyrighted by NFL Productions for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this broadcast or any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the consent of NFL Productions is prohibited.
Beautiful SoFi Stadium, Inglewood, suburban Los Angeles. Dolphins had only 2 penalties the first half. 3 were called as Herbert led that drive of 75 yards and took it in himself. 3 penalties were called in that drive against Miami. A season ago, Trent, Miami led the NFL in penalties.
Well, and a couple of those big ones were Xavier Howard wrapping up the receivers.
Touchback to the 25 and downstairs to Mel.
Well, Brandon Staley told us he paid a visit to Steve Kerr this offseason and sought out his advice in an effort to become a better coach. So he flew up to see him for the Sacramento series in the playoffs. He said he sat in on all the meetings, and he said spending time with their staff and seeing how they handled adversity and made different adjustments was just invaluable to him. He said Steve Kerr shared every single story you could think of, and he said he's just such a fierce competitor. That's the type of leader I want to be.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by DirecTV. Stop compromising. Start watching. Corona Extra. Live La Vida Más Fina. And by Burger King. Try the new BK Royal Crispy Wraps.
Welcome back to Los Angeles. You're watching NFL Kickoff presented by YouTube TV. And the former Patriot, a Pro Bowler back in 21, J.C. Jackson, just had an end zone interception of Tua. Second red zone turnover today by Miami.
$3 off.
We're in Los Angeles today in aerial coverage of today's game provided by Goodyear. I love football. I love my family. And I love blimps, and not necessarily in that order.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by KFC. Grab 8 hot and spicy wings for just $4.99. And by AWS. Transform your data and business with AWS.
Well, this is a wonderful Hollywood script. We've had 5 lead changes on this season opening, weekend opening game. Tyreek Hill telling everybody that he's here. We see it, and the numbers reflect it. A touchdown reception, 8 catches, 169 yards.
And Kevin.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Bud Light, who reminds you to drink responsibly. Chipotle, for real. And by State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Pro Football Hall of Famers Charlie Joyner and Kellen Winslow joined the Ring of Honor during halftime. Joyner played 11 seasons with the Chargers. What a phenomenal receiver. And Winslow, one of the greatest tight ends ever, spent his entire 9-year career in San Diego. Boomer in New York.
A solid Garoppolo debut.
He's got 2 touchdown passes. Here's one to Jacoby Myers. A little slant pattern, perfectly thrown ball. They take the lead, the Raiders do, over the Broncos, 17-16.
Back to Kevin Harlan.
Coming up after the game, time permitting, State Farm postgame show with JB Phil, Nate Boomer, JJ Watt, and Coach Cowers. Scores, news, and highlights. All next, time permitting, on the State Farm postgame show. 3rd and 15.
The normally sure-handed Tyreek Hill, that time losing the ball, which is a big drop, because now instead of 3rd and 3 or 4, you got 3rd and 15. to take the 3 points.
Want to remind you on Saturday, the season debut of the SEC on CBS. With South Carolina heading between the hedges to take on #1 Georgia. They'll get you set for the kickoff beginning at 2:30 Eastern Time with the drive to Atlanta, followed by college football today. Saturday, the SEC is on CBS. It is the opening weekend of the NFL season. Some big headlines all over the league, including Brock Purdy coming back. This will surprise a lot of people watching their domination over Pittsburgh. Joe Burrow threw for 82 yards, a career low. The Browns winning. And Jacksonville with a big debut for Calvin Ridley. Comes in. Remember, he didn't play last year. The former Falcon, now Jag, had 101 yards receiving. And J.K. Dobbins injured again and out for the season, this time an Achilles tear. That's a crushing.
That's just devastating.
I feel for the kid. He's a terrific kid.
He's always been great with us in the meetings, and just the work that he's put in and how he's worked to get back out on the field. Just to see another injury for him, you feel for him.
Such an incredible career in college as Berrios remains inside the goal line. 3 timeouts for Miami, in and out, 25, touchback, and that's for Tua Tagovailoa. We'll have it 1st and 10. How about Tua's day, Trent?
Tua's had a little bit of everything. Early in the game, a fumbled snap. He's able to get the touchdown to Craycraft in the back of the end zone. Then he tries forcing one into the corner of the end zone. That gets intercepted by J.C. Jackson. And then he sees Tyreek one-on-one with J.C. Jackson, and he knows that's a foot race. Tyreek's going to win every time.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Wingstop, where flavor gets its wings. And by Verizon, the official 5G network of the NFL.
An incredible game for our new audience joining us around the country in Los Angeles. Tua with 2 touchdown passes. We've had 6 lead changes. Miami is moving again. They'll be forever linked. Miami has come back to win it. Tagovailoa, 466 through the air. Hill had 215 receiving yards. An incredible game.
Phenomenal win for the Miami Dolphins. Great way to start this season, going on the road to get a big win.
Let's go to James Brown in our CBS studios in New York.
What a game, and we've got one in New England. Philly holding to a 5-point lead with 24 seconds left in regulation. Let's join Jim.